You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Hi, I'm Davey.
And I'm Mitch.
And we are
the Bargain Bin Gamers.
We got that done really fast.
Woo! Davey's leading this one.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Davey episode, everyone. And this is the podcast and YouTube show where we put the gay in gaming.
While also looking after your hip pocket. But not really this episode.
No, that's right. This one, we have loosened your purse string so much that who knows what's going to fall out of the fucking things.
If I ever hear you say that ever again.
I had some other stuff I wanted to add to the intro too. I was going to like the gay in gaming and the queering QWERTY keyboard. But we're not talking about PC.
Davey always gets mad at me because I can't remember the intro, but he changes it every bloody episode.
I know. Look, thank you so much for joining us, and a big thank you to all of our network patrons. That's right. This show is a part of a podcast network called the BQN. And our BQN podcast network patrons, through their generous financial contributions, help keep this and other BQN podcasts coming to you every single week. We'd like to give a big shout out, of course, to our associate producer from Patreon.
And personal friend of the pod, by the way, Sam Johnson.
Sam Johnson, the farmer who wants a wife. Sam, love your work. Thank you so much for continuing to support the show. And you can also support the show and the rest of the BQN network by going over to patreon.com/BQN. For as little as $1 to $2 a month, you can get early releases of our episodes. For as little as $5 a month, you get uncut, unedited episodes. You also get Patreon-only podcasts and invites to our monthly Zoom roundtables and a whole lot more.
A whole lot more. So go ahead and subscribe.
Just go ahead and subscribe. Which actually, no, you don't have to do that. Like those who do, we love you for doing it. But everything is always free.
Correct.
No ads, all that kind of stuff. But
could you imagine us with ads?
Yeah. Patrons help, right? Everything that we get from our Patreon collective just is reinvested in helping us with the software and licenses and subscriptions and all that kind of stuff we need to be able to produce and edit our shows. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Wow. So here we are on the 7th of June, 2025. Now, what happened on the 5th of June, 2025?
The Switch 2 came out.
The Switch 2 came out. The two sellouts who've been celebrating queer gaming nonstop for the whole year.
And now, like, fuck it.
Now
give us the
it's
Switch 2.
like, I need to spend a lot of money.
We were like, queer schmear, give me the bloody give me the Switch 2, I need it.
Look, I thought it was really important that we do this episode up front and when it's quickly and timely and relevant because I got one.
He sure did.
And look, I'm not ashamed because I am a massive Nintendo fanboy. Like I've always been since the N64 days. I love me some Nintendo.
Who doesn't?
So look, I went out. I spent the $760 on the Mario Kart World bundle, which I'm showing on the YouTube version now. There's the box. I
did hold the stable ones, could you?
I did a very dorky unboxing video on the YouTube channel. I've always wanted to do one of those. I literally
content creation.
Literally at 8:30 in the morning on Thursday.
You're such a loser.
Shaking the box at the camera. Oh, look what I got.
Look, everyone.
And then I went and saw the thousands of other people who'd done it on YouTube before me who went to midnight launches. It's cool. You played
It's a big one as well. Big launch. Everyone's excited for a launch.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And even at the age of 41, it's so exciting when a new console
100%.
comes out. I still get super excited by it. And do you know what? I'm loving the Switch too.
You're loving it. I got to play a little bit today. Loving it, by the way.
Yeah. And so, look, we wanted to jump in and do an episode early on, I've had 48 hours with the bloody thing, but really wanted to dive in with some early impressions, right? So for those watching on YouTube, Here she is. Here she is. Here
There you
she
go. You can
is.
see our light in the background as well for those watching.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I want to, so I guess I want to split this into a few different topics, right?
Mhm.
So the hardware experience itself,
Mm.
the flagship launch game, which is Mario Kart World.
Flagship launch game, singular.
Well, and we'll touch on that too.
Mm-hmm.
The game updates, both free and paid, to
Mhm.
existing Switch games, and some other surprising game updates that people weren't expecting.
Mm.
Quickly want to touch on how some of the AAA titles from like PS5 and modern gen Xbox are performing on it.
Yep.
The GameCube Classics, which was, oh my God, I reckon I played the GameCube Classics before I touched on any of the new stuff.
May as well. It's
Um,
half the sell, honestly.
and then any other bits and pieces. So
Sounds good.
yeah. So first of all, $700 for this.
Fucking hell. 700 Australian dollars.
700
Dollary-doos.
Australian dollar dues. Now, this has copped quite a bit of criticism.
Copped some criticism. hasn't it?
Copped it right
That's
up the purse strings.
That's a very Australian term, copped it.
It's copped it. But, okay, here's the thing, right?
Hear me out.
Hear me out. People are upset because it's expensive by Nintendo standards.
It is.
And shit is expensive at the moment,
It
right?
really is.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know what? I sold stuff to buy this,
Yeah.
right? And I have a job.
And your hole hasn't been the same since.
and my purse strings are just
Stop it with the first strings.
Okay. Anyway, here is the thing I'm thinking of when it comes to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can say from my experience with this thing so far, it is a premium product.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great gadget. It's not as powerful as like the Steam Decks and all that kind of stuff, but they cost over $1,000
Exactly,
in most cases. And things like PS5 and all that kind of stuff, they are powerhouse machines and they come at a premium price.
But they're also anchored to your home,
Exactly.
which is something different.
But
so.
like, and these are probably the same people who don't bat an eyelid at paying $2,000 for a new iPhone every other year. And this, it's such an interesting.
So you're taking umbrage with this, I said.
I am taking umbrage. And look, I could absolutely sympathize with the people who feel like they've been priced out of it because maybe Nintendo is the one that you can usually always afford. But I think the value is there and and definitely the potential is there. There's been some criticism that the launch lineup is quite weak.
Mm.
And maybe I'll get into that a little bit soon. But here is how I have kind of been comparing it, right? Imagine that you've been getting by with an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 8 for the last couple of years.
Mm.
And then suddenly someone gives you the brand new, what iPhone are they on now?
55 plus X.
55 Plus X
Who
Pro
knows?
limited edition.
In gold.
and that's what it kind of feels like picking this bad boy
Yeah.
up. Like it's essentially a very similar experience.
Yes.
Everything, you and I played it, like
Yeah.
the UI is all very much the same,
Mhm.
much smoother, a lot less clunkier. All the old games still work.
Yep.
But there's also newer games.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like,
Mm.
I wouldn't use the term polish a turd because the Switch was never a turd, but like, Nintendo will, you've seen it with GameCube, goes to Wii, goes to Wii U, goes to Switch. They've always changed it up. It's always been this crazy new
They
invention,
experiment.
but they haven't this time, which I think is a good thing because I think the Switch is such lightning in a bottle that they've managed to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Lightning doesn't strike twice, but you can definitely help it.
Yeah.
And so they haven't changed too much. They've just polished it in like a way that I think is so good. And $700 is a lot of money,
Mhm.
but that came with the game, yeah?
I got the $760 version, which came with Mario Kart.
Yeah,
World.
so 700 flat for the console.
Yep.
Honestly, I think it is worth it because this console is going to last. How long did the Switch last? Switch was what, 2015?
2017.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Breath of the Wild came out in 2015.
Maybe it was 2016. I
Maybe.
don't know.
But still, that's almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And the Switch has been a main player.
I was
So-
still playing my original Switch
Yeah, me
up
too.
to the night before I traded it in
That's so cute.
to go and get this. Like I will because my partner watches like a lot of sporting stuff I'm not too interested in, but I love to just kind of sit there and play the Switch on the couch of an evening. It's my way to tune out. Now I've got a much more powerful one to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the safest Nintendo has ever played it, and I'm so okay with it.
Yeah.
Because it's also the smartest
Definitely
Nintendo
very
has
smart.
ever played.
I don't think they should. I don't think it was the right time to change the Switch up.
No.
No.
This is a perfectly valid model for them to continue with for quite some time.
Yeah, especially with the ability that it can run at, like its actual specs and things like that.
Yeah. Exactly. And let's dive into that, right? So we could talk about, new Joy-Cons and all that kind of stuff, but
That was smooth.
yeah, I just want to hang on a sec.
For those listening,
Fiddling
sorry,
with
the
the
Joy-Con.
Listen to this. Oh yeah.
Bottle that up and take it out for a night out.
Yeah, but we want to try and, geez Louise. Launch games, right? So people have said weak launch lineup. There's only one exclusive Switch 2 game at the time of launch, which is Mario Kart World.
Mario Kart World.
To which I saw someone on social media go, yeah, but there was no exclusively PS5 games for at least 2 years after that was released, right? So look, I do tend to agree. There have definitely been stronger launch lineup, but there's a lot else going on under the hood that makes this worth it. So Mario Kart World, I've put a lot of time into it already. I've been playing it non-stop since I got the bloody thing. And I love it.
It's good.
It's good,
unfortunately.
Everyone. It's so good. And it's on a scale like you've never imagined Mario Kart before. Let's go through the core gameplay. So you and I did a Grand Prix together before we sat down to record. And how did you sort of describe the way the tracks made you feel?
I felt like a TikTok kid, where it was, instead of you play the thing, you have a pause where you can get up, have a glass of water. It was non-stop gameplay, which was it's very now, where it's the consumer's attention span is so limited.
Yeah.
And they make the jokes about having Subway Surfer in the side when kids these days are doing stuff. But it's very that, where it's just you do a course and then you do the bridging section where you bridge between one
you
course
drive to the next course.
And that matters as well, because you get points through that as well. So it's you're playing and you're oh, thank God I came first. And then it immediately started. I was oh my God, I have to try and beat Davey again, because I did beat you. But it was very, it was non-stop fun.
Yes. And the 24 characters in the race.
That was so much.
It's just nuts.
Well, unfortunately, Mario Kart has this thing which I've coined called the item clusterfuck, which is in the middle of there. So if you go from 4th to 9th, you're just being bombarded with items. So I can only imagine, I wouldn't know because I was first pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine that is just a nightmare scenario to be in with 24.
Especially in the online battles. I did a 24-person
ruthless.
online game recently, as recently as today. And I was stuck up the back and it was an absolute cluster fudge. So, yeah.
Were they all playing as the cow?
No. But huge roster of characters, by the way.
Too many, I would dare say.
Huge roster of characters, huge roster of maps, and just the tracks are just they're enormous, right?
Yeah.
So there is a big open world that connects all the tracks, and you feel it, right? Because you go over a hill, and there is just, you've never seen Mario Kart before with just so much detail.
Yeah.
Stretching off into the horizon. You kind of always know where you're going, which is good.
See, I actually, contrary to that, I actually think that is the opposite for me, because
you got lost.
So I can only really speak on some of the Mario Kart 8 tracks for this, but some of the newer ones that they introduced, I got so I was where am I going? I'm bouncing over rooftops and stuff, and I'm hang on, where is the course? And maybe it's just me, maybe it's my ADHD, where everything is there's stuff falling everywhere and there's stuff moving, and I'm just woo.
Yeah.
But the World, I didn't have an issue with what we were playing, but I can imagine Rainbow Road is probably going to give me an aneurysm.
Rainbow Road is quite possibly the most intense experience I've I don't want to spoil too much for anyone that hasn't played it, but Rainbow Road, blew my mind. It's the best Rainbow Road ever.
Not
the
surprising.
best one ever.
Yeah.
As far, for me, it's the best one ever.
Yeah.
But look, I could say that because it's, and look, it kind of needed to have be a bit of a step up, right?
Yeah,
If it's going to be the flagship launch title for the new system, It absolutely needed to be a Mario Kart experience that people could relate to, but also one that just blows their mind at the same time.
And this is going off the skirt tails of Mario Kart 8, which was probably the most well-received Mario Kart game ever made.
Oh yeah, and that game has lasted with new content still being delivered for it 10 years after its initial launch, right? And I loved Mario Kart 8. Such a fun party game. And I think this one will definitely pick up and go in all kinds of crazy new ways. I haven't had a chance to do any of the social stuff yet, like the chat features or anything like that. However, I have done a lot of the online stuff. They are just as crazy. Love the new knockout tournaments or knockout races. So that's where you basically do one continuous stretch across 4 courses without stopping.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's various checkpoints where if you are position 20 or less, you're knocked out. And then it's 16, then it's 8, then it's 4.
Ooh, the stress.
A lot of the time when I'm playing against the computer, I get through to at least to like 8 or 4. Online, oh my God, it's so hard to get that far.
Even when we were playing like 150cc, not to out us as like noob gamers or anything, when we were playing 150cc, the computer was still doing a really good job. Like, this was quite a hard Mario Kart game. Like, I was chewing my tongue because I was stressed. I was like, oh.
You really feel like you earn your wins. I mean, like any Mario Kart, yes, you can 100% be doing really, really well and then get absolutely fucked up right before the finish line by the blue shell. That all still happens. The battles are back. So like the coin battles, balloon battles. They're fun. They're fun to play with friends. I did find that they are on, you didn't get to see this, but they're on much larger maps.
Ooh, I think that's a detriment.
Yeah, I always remember the battles being fun because they were in these tight little arenas.
Yeah, you had to fight over the resources and things.
Yeah, these are essentially, you're on like one of the normal race courses.
Oh my God, they're massive.
Yeah. So again, I didn't quite, I feel like it was fun, but there were times when I'm like, where is everyone? Free roaming.
Ugh.
Don't care for it.
Who cares?
It's the open world element. So when you're on the title screen, you can go press start to free roam. And there's little buttons that you can do.
Breath of the Wild Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I know we joke about that.
It's unfortunate because it just hasn't, doesn't land as well as I was maybe Nintendo was hoping that it would.
It's just the Breath of the Wild effect that's just happened. Like, unfortunately, every game is pandering to that in some way or another. Like, and even Nintendo with their own IPs, like.
Yeah, and look, whatevs. Like, you can do some little challenges and stuff, but
it doesn't take away from the core gameplay. So if you like it, you like it.
Look, I'll wrap it up and just say I'm in love.
Yeah.
In love with Mario Kart World. Great launch game. It's not Breath of the Wild. However, segue. There are the other thing that is the updates to existing Switch games. Some paid, some free. However, as a Nintendo Online member, I got them all for free.
Oh.
So the first one I tried was Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Of course.
Which we played a little bit of before.
We did. Oh my God, it's so pretty.
It's beautiful. The 60 frames per second, the increased resolution is just stunning, right? And it was a stunning game already. It's even more stunning now. I never actually finished it, but now I want to. So I'm definitely going to do that. You do notice some imperfections, like some of the pop-in is still kind of there from time to time. You notice some of the some of the blurry textures that we use to maybe save space, but absolutely just, the way that these games are meant to be played.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the Breath of the Wild one, but, essentially the same thing. And everyone's going, this, it is still a masterpiece, and now it's even more of a
Breath of
masterpiece.
the Wild is a 10-year-old game, and it still looks amazing. Like, it's crazy.
The one you were really excited about.
Speaking of games that don't look very good.
Speaking of games that don't look very good.
But now they do.
What was it?
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Brand new game. I've just been pretending that they've just released a new Pokemon game.
Oh, yeah. Look, I've told you before. I downloaded Pokemon Scarlet so I'd have something to talk to you about. And I
just complained.
Oh, my God. It was so bad.
It was hard to play.
Oh my god.
It's the only Pokemon game I can't
so
replay.
glitchy and the frame rate. And I'm like, then the graphics aren't even that good. Like, there
Yeah.
are better looking games on the original Switch that perform better than that game did. So
Yeah.
anyway, now it's in wonderful 60 FPS.
God, Nintendo
the
really...
graphics still suck.
Yeah.
Like,
But Nintendo really flopped their dick out when they put that trailer out for the Switch 2 release, because they showed the lake, the notorious lake, where it like bugs your whole console, and there's like 40 Pokemon in there. And we did a little bit of a play, and I checked out Castle Royale Lake and things like that. Looked great. Didn't notice any lag.
Yeah.
The textures all look great for everything. The pop-in is still there, but
there's more Pokemon on screen though,
yes,
which is cool.
I follow someone on Twitter. Yes, I will keep dead naming that app. Where they were in Area 0, and there was 42 Pokemon on screen at one point.
Wow.
I think my Switch would explode if that many Pokemon were on there. So,
we'll just
do
it. Yeah.
But that's the thing. A lot of like in the Pokemon community that I've been like viewing, they're all just joking that, they just released a new game. Scarlet and Violet just got released. There's no such thing as the previous version. So this is obviously the definitive version of the game.
Yeah.
And it's obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, hopefully this is going to carry through to Pokemon Legends EA.
Mm-hmm.
And that game is not going to have the same issues on launch that Scarlet and Violet did.
Yeah, and again, like, I'd put this game down. I will definitely...
It was ugly.
It was even like... And again, it's such... I mentioned I love to just play my Switch on the couch of an evening whilst my partner's watching TV. And, games like this are perfect for it, right?
Pokemon games are made to be held in your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. They've done really, really well. There were some others as well, like Mario Odyssey. I touched on that for a little bit. I couldn't quite see the difference. I thought it was already a beautiful looking game.
Mario Odyssey is already fantastic.
That already ran really well. I've seen some comparison videos online where I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Now I see it.
Yeah.
But I didn't touch on that one too much. Some things that surprised a few people though, right? So there are other games which are not in the list, which are actually running better on the Switch too.
Ooh.
Because they have the coding in it or whatever doesn't cap the frame rate.
Right.
So it's not every game. Noticeably, people mentioned Bayonetta's 2 and 3.
Bayonetta, they were held back a little bit by the original Switch, and they are glorious.
But and also because they didn't cap the frame rates when they're running on the new hardware. Apparently, everyone said it's incredible.
Yeah.
They're feeling like whole new games.
Love that.
So
Bayonetta deserves better anyway, so I'm glad.
Yeah, I found it. I found some Reddit posts where they're talking about that. And there's like lists of games which are benefiting from just running. Unfortunately, it's not all of them. There are others that will need to get specifically patched for it.
Yeah.
But that should be easy, right? Like in a lot of one of the ones I'm really hoping for, so it was the swan song of the Switch, which was Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
Never played it.
Such an amazing RPG.
Yeah.
I actually think you would enjoy it.
Probably would, yeah.
But it looks beautiful on the original Switch, but yes, very held back by frame rates and all that kind of stuff. Again, they could just maybe patch it, unlock 60 FPS. Make it look beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so I think, again, this is just where this has just been so smart because it's just like you've upgraded your PC, right? And you're going to get new games that are only going to work on that PC, which are going to be amazing. And you can still play all your old favorites, some of which benefit from running on the new hardware.
100%.
Which is really cool. The next one I wanted to touch on really quickly because I know you've got to go.
I have brunch.
Yes, brunch. So there's a number of AAA titles which have shown up, which used to run on like PS5 or modern day Xbox, namely Split Fiction, Cyberpunk 2077, and Hogwarts Legacy are some of the main ones which have been noted. Now, again, I was interested to play these because they did a lot of ports on the original Switch of like Witcher 3 and Hogwarts Legacy, and they were super low poly, low res, ugly looking affairs.
Ports.
Everyone was just like, too much compromise had to be made to get them running on it, right?
Yeah.
So we sat down and played a little bit of Split Fiction. I was so impressed.
Very impressive. It looks like a very high-end PS4 game.
That was, it's like, this is like somewhere between like a PS4 and a PS5, right?
Yeah. Obviously, they were still going for like that vague cartooniness as well. So we're not knocking you for not having like complete utter realism. But
yeah, I think the main thing you will probably notice is, these games are not running in 60 FPS and they probably never will.
Yeah.
But I saw someone say online, I will happily take a game that maintains a consistent 30 or 40.
Correct.
Over pushing for something that it
back.
might hit every now and then,
Yeah.
right? But it looked good. It was fun to play.
Well, it was on Unreal Engine, which is so rare to see on like a Switch game. Obviously, I know it's not originally a Switch game, but like seeing the Unreal Engine pop up when I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch, I was like, what the hell? This thing can run that? So...
Yeah, and look, and Cyberpunk is another one which I think everyone's really curious about. It's $120 on the Switch store, so I went and watched the Nintendo Life review, and all their footage was captured, and they give you different modes, which can sort of switch between 30 and 40 FPS, and like performance modes and fidelity modes. And they basically just said, like it's good, right? And especially in handheld mode.
Yeah, the fact that you can take it with you, that's insane.
Yeah. Like that is where these games like really, really shine.
Yeah.
Because you're probably less likely to notice any of the slight graphical
when you're
downgrades.
doing handheld.
But again, even in split fiction, I didn't notice.
No, and you've got a big TV.
I have a massive TV. I was not looking. I said to you, I said, what if you gave this to someone and didn't tell them that they were playing the Switch version? And I mean, obviously they're holding a Switch controller.
Yeah.
But whatever. So again, I'm so excited by those possibilities.
It's a new renaissance.
It's just renaissance is our word of the day. We've used that a few times. So I'm excited to see again it becoming the Switch 2 becoming a real contender for cross-platform games.
100%. Yeah. I think that's the way of the future, really. Anyway.
Well, exactly, because to be able to go, all right, I'm going to take Cyberpunk 2077 on my Switch.
I'm going to play it on the plane ride.
And I'm going to play it on the plane ride. And
that is crazy to me. If you told me 5 years ago that I could do that.
Yeah, and not to, I mean, you could probably do it on Steam Deck as well, but geez, those things are bulky.
Yeah.
But, like...
Might get flagged by Apple security.
I'm not going to be sitting there going like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, like, I can see all the Switch imperfections on it because what I've seen in the Cyberpunk gameplay... sure, it doesn't have actually, no, it does output to 4K, but even in split fiction, right? Like I wasn't sitting there thinking, oh, geez, I can see the muddy resolution. It's not like that at all.
No, it was really good. Yeah, good job, Switch 2.
Yep. And
even though I complained about you when we did the launch release thing,
to get us near the tail end of these impressions. So the other big draw card was the GameCube Classics, which you haven't had a chance to have a look at,
but I will be because of the Pokemon.
You are excited. I checked out Soul Calibur 2, which was fine. You get to fight as Link. It's quite an iconic fighting game. I checked out F-Zero. Again, I've never been overly invested in F-Zero as a Nintendo property, although I do remember that it was a very well known on the Nintendo 64 for running in 60 FPS on the N64. However, Zelda Wind Waker.
Oh yeah, that's yours.
And
I will be playing.
I cannot wait. I played a little bit of it just as part of getting a bit of everything under the hood to do this initial impressions, and just loved it. Loved it. It's good to have it back. I wish that we were getting the HD version that came out on Wii U, but
do you reckon they will?
Look, we'll see what happens. I think that what's interesting about these GameCube Classics is two things. One, I will definitely buy the GameCube controller. You can map controls to like your Switch Pro controller to make it a little easier. But still, you get the layout of a GameCube controller as on the HUD on the screen.
Oh, it's literally like 1-to-1.
Yeah. So, but one thing they have done, you mentioning the HD version, is they have bumped the resolution of these games up.
They sure have.
Which then led me to, because I was thinking about F-Zero and I was like, I want to go see that F-Zero in its 60 FPS on the N64. And then I jumped into that and I'm like, hang on, there's been a resolution bump in some of the N64 games as well.
I was going to tweak them.
Yeah, so for the Nintendo Online service, the N64 games, resolution bump, which was really, really cool to see. So I saw a little bit of Ocarina of Time, which I actually thought, oh, geez, don't have this benefiting that well much from it.
Yeah.
So then I tried the other new feature that's come in for N64 games, which is the CRT filter.
Put it on the old TV.
Which actually I found like...
I preferred it when you were showing me.
Oh my God. When I watched it, I was like, oh my God, this is how I played it in GoldenEye.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, GoldenEye had already had some enhancements made for its Nintendo Switch Online release. But I was just like, oh my God, this is how I remember this game looking. The only thing I didn't like was that you had to completely quit out of the game, go to the game selection menu, turn the CRT filter on. I just wanted to flick it on and off so I could get a quick comparison.
Yeah.
Because then you got to reload your suspend point and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that was cute to see. Look, any other little bits and pieces about the Switch 2 we should cover off?
Probably just that I'm kind of eating my words because I complained about it being so expensive and I was like, nah, it's too expensive. But like based on like actually like first impression, it seems like it's more than worth it.
Yeah.
Like I will be buying one. At the moment, I'm too poor to buy one. So I'll just be coming over to your house quite a lot.
And there's some there's some great stuff on the horizon as well with the new Donkey Kong and Metroid. I haven't really played around with
Legends EA.
Yeah, and that too. I haven't played around with the mouse stuff yet. I feel like that's a bit gimmicky.
Yeah, not necessary. With the new Mario Party and things like that. That
update hasn't come out yet, the Mario Party Jamboree update. That's still to come.
Surprised they wouldn't do that on release day, but anyway.
Yeah. But like I'm obsessed. So look, if you have not invested in it yet, I totally understand it. It is expensive and, you know, life is expensive.
Just have your rich older friend buy it and then go to his house.
I am not rich.
Richer than me.
Look, and you know what I mean? If you're a Nintendo fan, I can't recommend it enough.
No, and this is going to be their flagship console for the next 10 years. Like, it's not like they've asked you to break the bank like a million times. Like the last time the Switch came out was like 10 years ago. So this is just like Davey said, it's going from like an iPhone 6 to like an iPhone 16. Like,
yeah, and it's
just perfectly polished.
I think it is. I actually think it is $700 worth of tech.
Yeah,
like it absolutely is. And some people may disagree with me on that, and that's fine, right? Like you're perfectly welcome to. But I guess from my perspective, you know, it's no different. Like I said, it's no different to spending $2,000 on a new phone.
Yeah, couldn't be me, but yeah,
and you know, and people, I've seen a lot of arguments in comments around. You know, Steam Deck's better, and you know, Sony will probably release one that's more powerful, and yeah, it'll probably be twice as expensive. The reason why you buy one of these bad boys is, unlike those other handheld consoles, it's sleek, it's slender, it's so easy to slip into a bag and take traveling with you, or take on the train or whatever. And if you're a Nintendo fanboy like me, you get it because you're going to get those Nintendo properties that you will not get anywhere else.
Correct.
And they will always be at home here. And now the Switch has just had an upgrade because it's now a much more a bigger contender with cross-platform titles. You know, so you got those, and plus you've got amazing ways to play older classic games. And
what's not to love?
We've done a quick recap. Like I said, it's only been 48 hours since it came out.
Yeah.
So if there is anything else that you want to keep the conversation going, that you're finding, if you've got the Switch 2, drop it in the comments on YouTube, or
we'd love to hear about it.
Comment on one of our social media posts on Instagram or Blue Sky, or email us at bargainbingamer, GAYMER@gmail.com. Yeah. Until then, we'll just keep playing more Switch.
We sure will. Ready for Pokemon Legends.
Yep. All right. This one's got a bottomless bunch to get to, so...
Well, there might be a bottom there if I attempt. Just kidding. I do it all. But I've been Mitch.
And I've been Davey.
And we are...
the Bargain Bin Gamers.
We didn't say that together. Whoopsies! The Bargain Bin Gamers.
1, 2, 3.
The Bargain Bin Gamers. Okay. That's it. I'm going to get drunk.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give it a big thumbs up on YouTube, or follow the podcast wherever you get your podcast from and leave us a 5-star review. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky, and follow along on our live Twitch streams. You can also continue the conversation in our BQN podcast Discord, by clicking the link in the episode description. Don't forget that the Bargain Bin Gamer is part of a larger network of podcasts called the BQN. You can support this and other BQN programs by becoming a patron over at patreon.com/BQN. We'd love to hear your feedback on the episode. Leave us a comment on YouTube or send us an email to bargainbingamer, GAYMER, @gmail.com. Until next time, au revoir.
Double T Media.